The Essential Buddha Dhamma, Chapter 10. Chapter 10 comprises of the concentration factors of the Majjhima Patipata. Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Compiled by Somdet Prabhuta Gosacharya, English name page565-572, translated and edited by Bruce Evans. The Essential Buddha Dhamma, from page 565 to page 572. Right effort. Right effort is the first factor in the concentration group. The group is compiled of right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. It's also known as the training in the higher mentality, Ati Sita Sikha. The sutra's definition is as follows. What bhikkhus, monks, is right effort? This is right effort, bhikkhus, monks, in the teaching and the discipline. Chanta, wholesome determination, arouses zeal, makes an effort, puts forth energy, arouses and applies himself to preventing the arising of unskillful conditions that have not yet arisen. 2, arouses zeal, chanta, makes an effort, puts forth energy, arouses and applies himself to abandoning unskillful conditions that have already arisen. 3, arouses zeal, makes an effort, puts forth energy, arouses and applies himself to generating skillful conditions that have not yet arisen. 4, arouses zeal, makes an effort, puts forth energy, arouses and applies himself to the maintenance, non-fading, increase, perfection, growth, and fulfillment of skillful conditions already have arisen. In the Ati-dhamma, a further definition is given. What is right effort? It is the bringing forth of effort, virya rambha, in the mind, the going forward, the striving, the diligence, the effort, the industry, the tendency, the firmness, the steadfastness, the unrelenting persistence, the non-abandoning of zeal, the non-abandoning of responsibility, the shouldering of responsibility, effort, virya, the faculties of effort, virya indraya, the power of effort, virya bala, right effort, sammavayama, and the effort enlightenment factor, virya sambojana, which are the factors of the path, which are included in the path. This is called right effort. Right effort presented 4 divisions. In the Tipitaka, the sutra's definition above is also called the 4 Sammapatthana, or patthana. Right effort to create patthana, sammapatthana, the right way to create. And each of the 4 divisions given its own specific names as follows. Samvarapatthana, effort to prepare against unskillful conditions that have not yet arisen. 2, Pahana Patana, effort to abandon or eliminate unskillful conditions that have already arisen. Third, Pawana Patana, effort to develop or generate skillful conditions as yet unarisen. And four, Anurakana Patana, effort to preserve, to protect, to promote skillful conditions already arisen. In some places, the following explanation of the four efforts incorporated example is given. Samarapatana, when a bhikkhu, a monk, perceives from with the eye, he does not adhere to its image. Nimitta, he does not fantasize about or attach to its general characteristics. He does not adhere to the details. Anupayanyajana, he does not fantasize or attach to the details. He practices for the restraint of the senses, which is unrestrained which, if unrestrained, would be a cause for the arising of evil, unskillful condition, such as covetousness and grief, to overwhelm him. He guards the eye faculty and is composed in the eye. When hearing a sound with the ear, smelling an odor with the nose, and tasting a flavor with the tongue, touching a tangible with the body, cognizing a mental object with the mind, as before. 2. Pahana patana, a bhikkhu, a monk, does not allow sensual thoughts, hostile thoughts, aggressive thoughts, and evil, unskillful conditions that have arisen to become established. He abandons them, calms them, banishes them, and allows none to remain. The third is Pawana Patana. A bhikkhu, a monk, develops the 7 enlightened factors, Sambhojana, which are dependent on seclusion, dependent on dispassion, dependent on cessation, and inclined to liberation. Anurakana Patana, a bhikkhu, a monk, cherishes and safeguards good concentration images. Samadhi nimitta, which are the 6 perceptions already arisen. Effort is a vital quality in Buddhism, as can be seen for the inclusions of right effort as one of the 3 factors of the path: right view, right effort, and right mindfulness that must always support all other factors as stated above, and also is inclusion under the name or another within almost all the other groups of the factors concerning Dhamma practice. Its importance can be gleaned from the following Buddha Vasana. This teaching of the Dhamma is for the diligent, not for the indulgent. Bhikkhus, monks, I perceive clearly the value of these 2 qualities. First, being one who knows no contentment with skillful qualities. Second, being one who knows no relenting in practice. So reflect to yourselves, thus I will establish unrelenting effort. Though I waste away to mere skin and bones, and the blood in this body may dry up, if I have not attained the fruit that is attainable through a man's strength, through a man's effort, and through a man's striving, there will no be abandoning of the practice for me. This should you reflect. Apart from the other considerations, the reasons for the emphasis on the importance of effort is derived from the fundamental Buddhist principles of that truth, Satcha Dhamma. It is the natural principle, natural law that exists as the norm. The position for Gautama Buddha or the teacher is merely of one who discovers that law, announces it to others. Attainment of results in the practice is subject to the unbending process of determinants in nature, not the teacher. Since this is so, everybody must strive to bring about the achievement of results through their own efforts and not expect results without doing the work. Thus, the Buddha's teaching is this regard as follows. Effort is your own responsibility. The Tathagata only points out the way. Even so, like all other factors of the path, the putting forth an effort must first take form properly in the mind, and from there expand out to a practical application accordingly. It is not a matter of thinking of applying effort and then simply throwing a great deal of physical energy into it, which we can easily turn into self-mortification and lead to harmful results. Application of effort must be harmonious with other factors, especially sati and comprehension, sampajana, incorporating panya, wisdom and understanding, applying effort with wisdom so it is suitable, neither too tense, not too lax, as illustrated in the story. At the time, the Venerable Sona was staying at Sitavana Forest near the city of Rajaka in Bharat, devoting himself to zealous exertion or practicing asceticism, walking meditation until both feet were cut, but to no avail. While in seclusion, he thought to himself, of those disciples of the Blessed One, the Buddha Gautama, who has put forth diligent effort, I surely am one. In spite of that, my mind is not liberated from the outflows of the asavas and kilesas done with upatana, clinging. But my family is well off. I could spend my wealth and do good deeds at that same time. Enough! I would take leave of the training, use my wealth and perform good deeds. The Buddha Gautama, knowing of his thoughts, went to see Venerable Sona. The Buddha Gautama says, Sona, has the thought described above arisen in you? Sona replied, yes, Lord. Gautama Buddha says, how do you consider thus? Previously, when you were an householder, you were skilled at playing the lute, were you not? Sona replies, yes, Lord. Gautama Buddha asks, how do you consider this? When the strings of the lute were too taut, was the lute sweet sounding and fit for playing? Sona replies, no, Lord. Gautama Buddha goes forth asking, how do you consider this? When the strings of the lute were too slack, was the lute sweet sounding and fit for playing? Sona replies, no, Lord. Gautama Buddha goes further and asks, but when the strings of the lute were neither too taut nor too slack, but tuned just right, then your lute was sweet sounding and fit for playing, was it not? Sona replied, yes, Lord, it was. Gautama Buddha finally proclaims, in the same way, Sona, exertion that is overzealous leads to distraction, when exertion that is too slack leads to indulgence. Therefore, you should determine the proper amount of exertion, understand the balance of the faculties, and devote yourself to the proper amount. While right effort itself is the path factor, It is an internal quality of the individual mind. It can only function and come to growth through interaction with the external world. That is, through attitudes adopted, responses dealing with the sense objects. It's called aramana, cognizable through the eye. Aramana, cognized through the ear. Aramana, cognized through the nose. Aramana, cognized through the tongue. Aramana, cognized through the body. Through the external application of that internal effort to actions. Conduct daily living and carrying out activities through conductive or obstructive surroundings and their helpful or obstructive influence on the putting forth of effort and the growth and development of interqualities. Effort in the practice of the Dhamma, the law, the kind that is expressed outwardly, is in physical actions and applied in forms known as patana. Patana must involve and be supported by many external factors, including physical surroundings, natural surroundings, and social surroundings. It is at this point that the Buddha Dhamma discusses the role and the importance of those external factors in the creation of good life and attainment in Buddha's highest goal. As an example of this kind of idea, I present some Buddha Vasana on the subject of extra consideration. Monks, bhikkhus. There are these 5 qualities that one who is endowed with effort, pataniyanga, which are the 5. A bhikkhu, a monk in this teaching and discipline, is one possessed with sattha, faith. He believes in the Tathagata's awakening, that for such and such reason the Blessed One is an Arihat, a fully enlightened Buddha, the proclaimer of truth. 2, he is one with few illness, few disease. He has a stable digestive system, neither too cool nor too hot, just right for putting forth effort. 3, he is not a braggart, not a deceiver. He is candid, both in the teacher and those of the few practitioners who are wise. 4, he is one who puts forth effort for abandoning unskillful qualities and bringing skillful qualities to fruition. He is resolute, a striver, constant, and does not neglect skillful qualities. 5, he is one with wisdom, possessed of wisdom of noble ones, which penetrates to the arising and sensation, scatters defilements, and leads to the rightful cessation of suffering. Bhikkhus, monks. There are 5 occasions not suitable for putting forth effort. What are the 5 occasions not suitable for putting forth effort? They are when a bhikkhu, a monk, in this teaching and discipline, number 1, is old and overwhelmed by aging. 2, is sick and overwhelmed by sickness. 3, is in the time of famine when food is hard to come by, and it's not easy to maintain oneself on alms food. 4, is in time of danger when there is a trouble and attacks by bandits from the forest, and the country folk take to their carriages and flee. And 5, in the time when there is schism in the Sangha, the community, when there is a schism in the Sangha, the community, there is abuse, there is slander, accusations, and the abandoning of each other. Non-believers are not moved to believe. Some of those who previously believed become otherwise. Bhikkhus, monks, There are 5 occasions suitable for putting forth effort. What are the 5 occasions that are suitable for putting forth effort? 1. A bhikkhu, a monk, is still young in his youth, black-haired, endowed with vigor and youth in the prime of his manhood. 2. A bhikkhu is a few illness, a few disease. 3. The time is one in which food is plentiful, food is easy to come by, and it's easy to maintain oneself in the alms round. And 4. The time is one when people is harmonious, friendly to each other, and not contentious. They are like milk and water, looking on each other with kindly eyes. And 5. The time is one in which the Sangha, the community, is harmonious, friendly to each other, not contentious, of unified view. When the bhikkhus are in harmony, they do not abuse each other. They do not slander each other. They do not accuse each other. They do not abandon each other. And the non-believers are moved to believe, while believers find their belief even stronger. We're going to leave off there on the top of page 572. That is the first part of chapter 10 from page 565 to 572. Right effort. And we'll start off with right mindfulness on chapter 10. The essential Buddha Dhamma, the teachings and practice of Southern Buddhism, the way of the elders, Theravada Buddhism, compiled by Somdet Prabhuta Gosacharya, English name, P.A. Payuto. This is translated by Bruce Evans.